What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams. As always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up?
What's going on? And Daniel Acevedo.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on? So, unfortunately, Chris wasn't able to make it this week. However, I think we have a good slate of topics, and yeah. Well, we should be fine. We'll be fine without you, Chris. How about that? No, so as you can hear, I also sound like I have I'm getting over something, right? I have a head cold or something. But definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday, our topics. Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays, Ask CISSP. And then Fridays, everything else. Movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article also comes from darkreading.com, written by Tara Seals. And the title of this one is AI Chatbots Ditch Guardrails After Deceptive Delight Cocktail. So I hate to say I told you so. No, let me stop lying. I don't hate to say I told you so, but I'm telling y'all, like, AI is going to get us, all right? This is how it happens. This is how that
Tell me how you really feel. Tell me how you really feel.
If you got it in for Warren, I got it in for AI. Like, but no. So like, in all seriousness, though, right? Like this is just how this can happen, right? So like AI is no different from what we've had to deal with in the past, in a sense of there are vulnerabilities that need to be looked after, that need to be looked at, right? So what they're talking about here is doing prompt injections, right? And this has come up before. We've talked about doing prompt injections in AI and how it can give you bad results, give you undesired results, things you're not really looking for, right? And so this is something that's come up before, and it was several months ago. I want to say we did an article on it. We were talking about it. And we're talking about the injections and what it's actually doing. And the description they gave for this, right, it's kind of like, this was kind of funny when I read it. And I was like, man, it makes sense. It's like a parent that gets tired of, like, not disciplining their child, but that gets tired of saying no, right? So like you give it something, right? And then you say, okay, forget that and do this, right? And as many times as it does it correctly, it doesn't give you the bad information. Eventually, as a parent, you just get tired of it, right? Like I've done it myself, right? Where my kids, if they keep asking, I'm just like, oh, fine. You know what I mean? Like this is what it is. AI is kind of the same way in what it's doing in addition to guardrails, right? So this prompt injection, like I said, it could lead to different things, right? So like when I reference like in cybersecurity and IT, we've been dealing with this for a while, right? Like it's the equivalent of like cross-site scripting, you know what I mean? And stuff we've done before AI, right? Just it performed. Let me not say it performed. 65% of the time, I think was the success rate. I think it was. Let me verify this in the article. I think it was 65%.
It was, yeah, 65%. Yeah.
It's how often they were bypassing the guardrails, right? So that's a fairly high percentage for guardrails that are in place to try to keep you out. Like if it was a number in the single digits or something, I'm like, okay, maybe the cost of doing business, right? But 65%, that's over half that it made this happen. But yeah, this is something we got to look out for, folks. Like it's out there. We've done stories about this on the past. We actually brought it up a few weeks ago. I want to say we actually talked about it as well. But yeah, be careful out there, folks. Like the information going into these models are only good as the information going into them, right? So garbage in, garbage out. That's kind of how it is, and it's being successful at a 65% rate. So that's just a high number. But Daniel, what's your thoughts on this?
No, definitely. Before we get into it, though, shout out to this week's article. It's bringing back great names. Operation Overload for Monday. Today was Deceptive Delight. I mean, just right back on brand for cybersecurity exploits. I love it. But in all seriousness, and like what Shannon was alluding to, injection attacks have been around forever, way before AI. There's some kind of the first exploits that hackers and malicious actors will try to do. In essence, hacking and this world of cybersecurity, we're always trying to break protocols to see if we can do it on the defensive side, right? Or we're always trying to look at our protections in place and see where the shortcomings are. Injection attacks are one way to do that, and it's very, it's well known already. So I'm not surprised to see it in the AI, and we've talked about it in other articles. The fact with ChatGPTs and LLMs, since it's not a technical thing you have to do for the injections, it's even easier to exploit. Now what's happening is that these people are learning more sophisticated ways and easier ways to get the results that they want to look for. So the article where it talks about is literally almost like overwhelming the LLM or the chat GPT or the GPT with different types of questions or information for then the GPT to respond back with partial answer. And then you're asking it again to give you more information and more detailed information. And over time, it's just going to slowly give you the 1 through 10, the A through Z of some sensitive information. Where it gets really bad, and what the article alludes to, is when that is tied into online or anything that has to do with like emails or personal information or anything in your personal computer. But luckily, there's a lot of good information here about the OS, things you can do to protect yourself if you are using the GPTs, and things to look for to shore up some of these vulnerabilities. But I think the bigger thing alludes to, and kind of tying it back to yesterday's and Monday's article as well, is just the education of all this, right? We're moving into a world now where we have to fact check our sources. We have to double check things like the GPTs and the AIs of the world that we're going to be using day to day for school, work, and all these things. The education piece needs to really catch up to where we're living in the world day to day, right? And I don't know if that means starting at an earlier age and being ingrained into it, not only like using the computer, but how do you protect yourself from the computer and from these resources as well. So you're not kind of like left blind for these kind of things. So if you listen to the other side of the firewall, then you're fine because you're listening to us and you know how to protect yourself already. But yeah, but I see a lot of this stuff going back to education and how we start this at a very low level at a younger age. Not only we're doing a good thing in society at using the computers in schools and teaching kids how to use them as they grow, but now we need to show people how to protect themselves alongside that. Those are my 2 cents, though. What do you think, Ryan?
Again, I gotta put it in there. Gotta insert it. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We got a newsletter. It comes out. It's supposed to be every week. Now it's coming kind of bi-weekly. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to get back to consistency. But it's called the rundown, just like the final episode of every week. But to go back on topic. So I mean, it's really social engineering for robots is kind of what's happening right now, right? But it works against humans. It works against robots. It works against everybody. I think the cure or the mitigating aspect of it has to be that you insert a human being back into the loop. I hate to say it, but you never get rid of us. Even no matter how good AI becomes, you're always going to need a person to be there to discern bad human behavior. It's just the way it is. These things are kind of still childlike, but even when they become more sophisticated, right? Like talking about the next GPT will be the graduate level and things of that nature. You're still going to need a human being in the loop somewhere to decipher when somebody's trying to do something malicious. Google used it back in, I think it was like 2014, 2015. I was in it with a project. I was looking for like off-duty work when I was active duty and like work from home before remote work was a thing. So Google had this thing where you could be part of a team, and what it would be was they would give you search results, but for your local area. So it's like this term or this phrase can mean something different to anyone depending upon where they're located. So they would send it to a team locally to decipher, like, okay, does this make sense for your area? Is it appropriate? So like, I'm just making something up because I can't remember back that far. But like, if somebody was searching for like P-Town, right? What does that mean in your area? Like, oh, well, Pocosin is right next door. So maybe they're searching for something to do with Pocosin as opposed to some other place like Philadelphia or what have you, Punxsutawney, where Punxsutawney Phil's from, right? In Pennsylvania. So it made it so that way it would be able to make sure that the person searching within your area was searching for something that was context, there you go, sensitive, your area, your demographic, or locality. So you still needed people because even though the algorithm is strong, it could not decipher across every single locality if this made sense. You're going to need something like that for ChatGPT and all the other LMMs at some point as well, because it's context sensitive. Like, what does that mean for you or your area? What are they searching for? Like, even culturally, the way words are used, right? Like, they're used differently between different cultures. You're always going to need a person for that. It's just the way it is. So I think that'll be the cure, but we'll see. So with all that being said, please continue to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit up all the websites that go by our name. Give me a personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on all the platforms, but specifically LinkedIn. And where can they find you, Daniel?
On LinkedIn, under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.